Hi everyone, Angela Allen from the Handmade Homestead. It's day number 6 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge, put on every year by Three Rivers Homestead in the month of August. So today, we're gonna do greens. Now I am a Sicilian American by culture, and greens are a big part of our diet, and in the garden right now I have a bunch of kinds of greens. So let's try sweet potato greens and Swiss chard, maybe some turnip greens. We're going right over there to the sweet potato vines. These 3 hens are my babies. Everywhere I go, they go, and they're super friendly. They're all actually really friendly. Our hens are pets to us, so they get a lot of attention and a lot of treats. But these girls are so sweet. Sweet potato vines, if you were going to eat the whole vine, you would just cut it like right here where it's still soft. It's usually the lighter green leaves that you want to eat, the tips. But in our case, since I'm going to dehydrate some of these, I'm okay with these bigger ones too. They're just as tasty, just a little bit tougher. So let's get going before it's already starting to rain, so I'm about to get drenched, I think. I'm gonna get going and I will see you in a few. Let's look at this bee, it's so cute. We have our sweet potato vines. Let's get some Swiss chard. Look at the size of these leaves. While we're at it, let's grab a couple of these turnips too. All right, well, it's raining hard. I think it's time for us to get inside. But I've got plenty to do right here in that bowl. So the first thing I'm going to do is get everything sorted so I can get it prepped to preserve. Aren't these beautiful? These are the turnip greens that I picked. And this is bright light Swiss chard. It really is that color. The yellows and the reds and the pinks are just amazing. And then there's some white Ford hook in there too. So these are the spinach greens that I picked. Now in many cultures, they just take that whole frond that you see there, the end of the vine, and they just saute it, stems and all. But I'm actually going to pull these off. I'm going to eventually pull the stems off too and just use the top of the leaf part. That's because I'm going to dehydrate it. And the stems would take longer to dehydrate than the leaves, so I want to remove 99% of those, as many as I can. So I'm going to sort these for dirty or damaged leaves. This is a cucamelon vine. This is a good example of no matter how careful you are, you could possibly get things that you may not want to eat in with food that you're bringing in. So always be careful, look at things, make sure it's the plant you're looking for. Cucamelon vines are safe. They're not something you necessarily want to eat, but it would have been fine. They're all over my garden. But just in case you get something that isn't edible or worse, poisonous, you want to be careful and make sure everything matches what you're picking. Just a note, see the white milky substance at the end of the broken stems? There's a kind of latex in sweet potato vines that you'll see it is sticky, just like what you find in fig trees or dandelions. In this case, it is edible. You don't need to worry about it, but just be aware that you will see that when you pick the vines. And this is important. Potato vines, potato plants are toxic and are not edible. These are sweet potatoes, and sweet potatoes are not in the same family as a regular potato. Sweet potato vines are edible, but regular potato vines are not. So let's prep these turnip leaves. I'm going to pull the leaves off. I am going to discard the stems. They're tough. They're not very tasty. I don't think my chickens would even like them, so they're going to go in my compost bucket. And there's not a lot of them, so I'm going to just mix them in with the Swiss chard that I picked. Swiss chard stems, on the other hand, are delicious. So I'm going to set the stems aside, chop them up separately, and freeze them separately. They really are tasty, and we eat them just in the same way that you'd eat green beans. We use them in stir fry, we use them in quiche, we use them just as a side vegetable. And aren't those colors really beautiful? They freeze well. They're really good in soup as well. And I'll show you more about that a little bit further into the video. So I'm going to toss these clean greens on a towel, let them kind of drip out some of that water before I package them. As for the stems, there's quite a lot of them, and this is quite a lot of food. And again, we try not to waste anything here. Either we eat it, the hens eat it, or it goes in the compost pile and back into our vegetables. In this case, I'm just going to slice them up, throw them in a big bowl, and those will get processed for the freezer as well today. It's kind of a toss-up. I think the stems are more of my favorite than the leaves, and I love Swiss Chard leaves too. Interestingly, last winter, I bought some Swiss Chard when I didn't have any left in my freezer, and it was $4 for 3 leaves. I think I did a video or a TikTok video about that, but I was shocked that it was 3 leaves and it was $4. It's just crazy. And I'm sure that was sprayed with a bunch of chemicals. This is not. We are organic gardeners. So everything's prepped. That first bowl is sweet potato leaves for the dehydrator. The next bowl is the Swiss Chard and turnip greens. Those will be packaged for the freezer. That red bowl, those are the Swiss Chard stems. Those will also be packaged for the freezer. That last bowl over there are just the turnips that I brought in, and some carrots and kohlrabi, and those we're going to have for supper tonight. So they're not for the freezer, but there they are. I'm going to dehydrate the sweet potato leaves. You don't need a dehydrator to let leaves or other thin things dry just on your counter in the kitchen or any airy, dry spot in your home. Okay, let's get these sweet potato leaves on the dehydrator. I'm just going to put them face down. Doesn't really matter. These are a little bit thick as leaves go. They will take more than 24 hours probably to dry, and it is raining outside, so that humidity in the air is fine, even though it will take, again, a little bit longer to dry. I'm okay with that. The only time that I don't dehydrate, it's not rain dependent for me, it's heat dependent. So this is an outside sunroom. It's kind of like a greenhouse for me. That's how I use it. It has windows all around on 3 sides, and then that side over there is the house side. So there's a wall there. But in the summertime, when it's really hot outside, it can get 105, 110 in here. And if it's that hot, anything that's hotter than the dehydrator's running at, I don't run the dehydrator. Because I love my machine and I don't want it to burn up because I'm being abusive to it. So I run it for herbs or leaves at 95. It's a cool rainy day. Right now the thermometer in here says it's about 72. So this is a perfect day to dehydrate. Even though it's raining, it's going to be just fine. Dehydrators can be really loud. This is a Samson Silent, S-A-M-S-O-N, Samson brand Silent. Is a 10 tray dehydrator, and it truly is quiet. Some of the other big name brand ones are very, very loud, but let me turn this on so you can hear how quiet it actually is. We're going to run it the temp at 95, so we're going to turn it way down, and then we're going to turn the time up to 24 hours. It might take longer than 24 hours depending on this weather, but we'll see. It might not. Some days it can take 8 hours to do leaves like this, some days more. So I just laid them out flat. I'm going to start loading the trays right in and get them going. These will be great all winter long. Never tried sweet potato leaves. You really do have to try them. When you pick them, they do have a little bit of a white sap, kind of like the dandelion would. Not to be concerned about that. They're really healthy, and they are really tasty. They taste like mild sweet potatoes when you use them. Even dry, the flavor does come through. So I really love them in soup and quiche and all kinds of stuff like that. But I do like them best dry, because like I said, the leaves are a little bit tough. This is a moderately small leaf. You can see the veins in it. They're pretty strong leaves. So I find if I shred them up or crumble them up just a little bit, they are easy to deal with. But I wouldn't. You can eat them like this raw or steam them and eat them like you would spinach. But in that case, I would pick these super small leaves because they're a lot more tender. I don't eat them like that generally, but you could if you wanted to. Now, I do my best to not run a dehydrator unless it's completely full. I do what I can to fill it. So those sweet potato leaves I put in took up all of those first shelves, but the bottom two were empty. So I pulled out the second to last one, and I've taken that bottom tray and I filled it full of herbs. I went out to the garden, grabbed some herbs. It's thyme and sage. They are separated on that tray just a little bit. But that way, it's kind of thick in there, so that's why I took the tray out above it. I could put one other tray in, but that's going to work just fine for me, and it's full enough. And I will show you when those come out, probably in tomorrow's video, because they won't be ready today. Now here's where things get just a little bit controversial. I know that a lot of people blanch their vegetables before they freeze them. They say it stops enzyme action and that it preserves vitamins and minerals and that the food lasts longer in the freezer. I haven't found that to be the case as far as the quality of my fruits and vegetables. I have found, especially vegetables, suffer more if you blanch them. I never blanch green beans. If I do, they come out mushy when I go to use them. If I just freeze them, wash them, dry them, freeze them, they come out fine and they taste like they just came from the garden even 2 years later. It's the same thing with greens for me. Since I'm going to steam these when they come out, they don't have a really strong flavor to begin with. I am just going to raw pack them in vacuum seal bags. Not vacuum seal them completely because I don't want to crush them, but I'm going to put them in servings for about 2 people, so a couple of big handfuls, and I'll show that to you. But I am not going to blanch them. That's what works for me. The texture comes out better, the flavor comes out better, and in a vacuum seal bag they last for a couple years at least. I've never had them for more than 2 years in the freezer, but I've never had a problem with loss of quality. So in this case, you do you, but understand that that's what I'm going to do because that's what works for me, and it has for years. I've been processing my own food, homesteading since I was, oh gosh, I want to say about 22, and I am 61. So that's worked for me. I'm going to go with what works for me, but you do you. I love my food saver machine. I would not be without some kind of vacuum sealer that works for bags as well as jars in my kitchen. I'm going to switch this over to moist because there is moisture in this, and I'm only going to vacuum seal these a little bit. I'm going to seal them, but I'm not going to remove all of the air. I don't want to crush the leaves, so that's what we're going to do. And absolutely, vacuum seal bags can be a little bit pricey. But as I said earlier, there's way more than $3.99 worth of chard and other greens in these bags. So I'm okay with the cost of a bag if it preserves the food for up to 5 years in my freezer. Now it's time for these chard stems. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the leaves. I'm just going to raw pack them and vacuum seal them. So for the Every Bit Counts challenge, today we are putting 5 bags of chard and turnip greens in the freezer, 4 bags of chard stems in the freezer, And we have a full dehydrator with sweet potato leaves in there and some herbs. And the turnips that I picked earlier, well, those are just going to be for supper, with carrots that we grew in the garden as well. So that's it for me today for day 6. Tomorrow is a new day, day 7 in the Every Bit Counts challenge, and I will be making another video. I'll see you in the morning. Take care. The Handmade Homestead can be found on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and we look forward to seeing you there. Remember to like and subscribe. It helps so much, and we appreciate your time.